Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero, the Dew Sweeper. You're listening to the Tour Coach Podcast, giving you insights into golf instruction at the highest level, from on the PGA Tour to our learning center at Frederica Golf Club. So we hadn't done one of these in a while. Tour Coach from my round table here, over here at Frederica, St. Simon's Island, and this is a wrap-up from what has been one of the better weekends, most fun weekends I've had. One of the cool things about teaching at Frederica for me is to invite people that I enjoy and that I care about a great deal and that are also awesome at what they do to come in and expose them to our students. And so I've got sitting here at the round table with me, Dr. Cartin. Greg, good to have you.
Good to be here, Tony.
I've got Dr. Scott Lynn. I like to put the two doctors on the front end because it makes me feel smarter. No offense to everybody else. And I don't even think either one of you could write a prescription. But
no, definitely not.
But Michelle Winkler. And by the way, congratulations on your top teacher under 40.
Thank you very much.
And newest to the Dew Sweeper fold. And I think this was a good addition. I'm not going to lie. I think this is a pretty good addition. Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher, Debbie Doniger. Debbie, thanks for coming and sitting in.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun. You've been on the podcast before and kind of took over the conversation a little bit. But
I think Debbie should take over the conversation, not because she's new to the camp.
So Debbie, so this was your first time, and we always talk about we always boast a little that I think what we do is different. And I don't really actually even know if it is or if it's just some marketing scheme we came up with. So tell me a little about what you thought about the weekend, how you thought the people interacted and learned, and what you thought was different, what wasn't, and let's talk about it.
So being that I'm at a private club for the last 19 years and out of the golf school arena, although I am totally a private. We
don't call this a golf school. We call it a retreat.
A retreat.
Because I feel like that's more intimate.
Yes. So I think the definition of golf school scares some people sometimes. I think it's very serious, very rote, and you're going to get better. But I do like how you call it a retreat. I will say there are other golf schools around the country that do try and pair different people of different expertise to help the entire student body that comes to that school. However, I will say that the students that came this week, high-level juniors, adults out of state that follow you and that want to, it's like having a totally different pair of eyes in terms of the mental game, we use a lot of force plate data with Scott, he's a biomechanist, and then you, me, your assistants, and Michelle on the instruction side. But I think when you can tag team and all be somewhat on the same page in terms of what the goals are for that student, if the student can connect with other voices that have a different way of communicating that message, then the student gets better. And I do think you've put personalities together where ultimately you have a hyper-learning environment that's relaxed and very fun, and that also is conducive to learning and not being totally stressed out.
Great talk.
That was a beautiful explanation.
That was as good as, I couldn't even pay for
End
that.
of show.
Right? So we did 3 minutes and 40 seconds on this, and I hope you all come back next time.
You could crank out a bunch of these.
Yeah, y'all mind doing 20 more and us get me through the end of the year? So Greg, talk a little bit about, we had two young men today, and I'm not going to bring names and all that, but they had been to golf school at the other end of the island, and, had been, for several years, hadn't gotten better, struggling. We spent a bunch of time with them on the physical aspect and on the golf swing aspect, but you spent some time with them. Talk about your experience with them and what you found was interesting.
Yeah,
talking with not just them, but the people this weekend from your perspective as a mental coach.
Yeah, I think all the people that come down here, and it's no surprise, one, they love the facilities, it's great, and they love the people, and they just have a good time. And nobody talks about, in my experience, what I was doing in my lesson or what I was doing with Morgan and Colby and fitness. It's more, this is the best thing I've ever done. This is so much fun. I'm having a great time.
How important do you think that is to learning and getting better?
I think it's really important. I think it keeps people engaged. Like if you're having a good time, you're going to want to come back and you're going to want to keep doing the things you're doing. You're going to remember the people you talk to. But when you get on a course with these guys, it's amazing. Like they're trying to incorporate the stuff they're learning. They're talking about the stuff they've done in the lesson. And they're really like enjoying each other. And they're strangers. They're hanging out with each other and they're having a good time. They're playing matches. And it's a great environment. And it's one that's hard to create in other situations. I think we have a pretty special thing going with
I thought
that.
it was cool today. Like, I'm going to shift it back over here, but like you take a young pro like Nilo Sanchez, who I played Shiloh from Neil Diamond for. I thought that was cute. And then he went out and played golf with 3 guys who are good players, right?
Yeah.
You know, low handicappers, whatever. But he went out and just played golf with him while you rode around with him.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a cool thing. And then I thought today, especially, you had the couple older kids, and you had a girl, Malia, from the university, who played at the University of Tennessee. That's another story.
It's a good mix.
Right, but it's an interesting mix of people, and to me, it's interesting how they all meld together. And what I particularly like, and I would like both of you 2 doctors, and Winkler, because you're kind of a doctor since you're with one all the time. I like having the people that are friends watch each other work so that they can coach each other. And I like how sometimes here the other people sit around and watch us teach the other students. I think that's kind of different to me. And it's surprising to me how many people like that versus just going out and beating balls on their own.
I think guys learn a lot from watching other people take lessons, right? Just sitting in that room, and I'll give you guys some props. This happens a lot when I take these guys in the course. They always say, the lesson with Tony was great. It was really simple and understood, but it made a huge difference. And then Dr. Fred today, who's here.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Lauer.
Played golf for a long time. Said, I really don't know what Scott was telling me from a technical standpoint, but it made sense and it helped, right? Like, it's a lot of information. You guys, he's had a lot of lessons and instruction. He said, but it made sense to me. Like, it helped. And he hit the ball great. Mm-hmm. And I think that's huge. Like, what Scott's doing, that stuff is super confusing, especially to me. Like, but to be able to get that message across to people who don't have a background in that stuff is really powerful.
But I think it's good. We end up in the end, I told them your grip needs to be a little stronger, and like you got to stay on the inside.
You come back to simple concepts.
That's it. That's right. Like 2 little things. That's all you got to think of, and I think that's what we generally end up with.
Yeah, and some people love all the numbers and and all that stuff, and they love seeing that stuff. But to be able to explain it like that is amazing. Like,
and I'm gonna point this to Michelle. So you observed, you taught also. Mm-hmm. How was this different than other things you observed? Is that you're a great young teacher, you're on your way to great things on your own. I was flattered that you wanted to hang out and observe. I think part of it was because we were buying wine. I'm not going to lie. But how was this different than other things you observed? And what did you take from it as a teacher? Because a lot of teachers listen to this podcast.
Right.
And my mom. So you 4 people and my mom.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like an observational standpoint, I mean, you included me in the lesson, which is something that I haven't experienced before from other coaches. The fact that you have music playing and people are coming in and out of the room and you've got other students watching and observing, like that is just something totally different. I feel like in other scenarios I've been to observe other coaches, it's really serious. Like, no one can say a peep, nothing like that, and you're just kind of a fly on the wall. So I just think it's the environment that you have all of us in, and it makes golf fun. I mean, you saw it from everyone today. Everyone had fun.
Yeah. And you take out everyone's, like, opinion matters.
What they do.
The ego is sort of put aside. It's hard for a bunch of golf teachers get in a room together. Like, it doesn't always work out that well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think like what I said, it's a good learning, it's a hyper learning environment. That's something McLean would say. And the golf IQ goes up because other people are watching the lesson, which is at other golf schools as well.
Yeah.
But then there is
But everyone learns from each other.
I also like, though, that sometimes in schools or private lessons, you know, the teacher goes out with the student after the range session. And I was going to ask you, like, I think that's pretty cool that you put the mental guy out with the students after the lesson.
Yeah, because I've had people want to shoot themselves after they've been I'm hoping he can help me.
No, totally. I agree with Tony, because it's like, geez, now we got to go take everything we just thought or learned or practiced on the range, and the hardest part is that, and I think that's smart to do it this way.
We just started doing that recently in the last couple of camps, and it's huge because, and I always say that there's two aspects to golf. There's skill development and there's playing golf, and they're 2 different things, right? You do the work with you guys, but you also have to apply that, right? So helping these guys come out to the course and stick with what they've done in a lesson. It's hard to go play golf after a lesson.
Totally.
Right? So having them, hey, let's abandon results right now. Your one objective is to stick with exactly what you did in your lesson, regardless of where the ball goes, and you're going to learn something, right? Because this is the best place to try it out. You can hit balls all day in the bay and get really good at that skill, but if you can't bring it out here, it doesn't matter, right? And to be able to do that, and that was my message to these guys today. It's like, that's it. That's all you're trying to do. And these guys were hitting it awful at the beginning, right? But they stayed with no. But that's what happens, right? They're doing something completely different, and to help them stick with that regardless. Okay, now go through. What did Tony say? What did these guys say to you in the lesson? All right, let's come up with one simple thing that you want to rehearse, and I want you to hit that shot exactly like that every time. I don't care where it goes. And you shouldn't either. And they start doing it, and then it hits them out, and then all of a sudden it starts to come together. And now next time they go out, they're like, oh, it's going to start to stick. People don't get better because they abandon that stuff right away. They hit one bad shot and say, this doesn't work. I'm going to go back to what I used to do. Like, yeah, it was fine, but it's too hard. I'm just going to go back to what I did. But that's why getting better is hard. Because it's uncomfortable and it sucks, and you hit a lot of bad shots, but you're learning.
And one of the things, Scott, we've worked together for a pretty good while now. One of the things I enjoy about working with you is the fact that if a guy's going along and he's hitting it good, take Luke Guthrie, right? Who has a penchant for he could go down a rabbit hole, get negative, but he's hitting good, and we're working on something that doesn't have anything to do with biomechanics. You're like, hey man, all your graphs are good, right?
Yeah, and there was stuff obviously in there that I saw that maybe wasn't ideal, but that's not
he's hitting it good.
Yeah,
right.
He's happy about golf. So,
but that's what I love about working with you is like, and the other part of it is you take all of those graphs and those pictures, I call them, right? I did because they look like a picture book. You know, they got them little purples,
good colors. Yeah, I get
the
it.
blues. All right. But you take all of that info, and I think the reason, and I'm, guessing here, but the reason I think I enjoy bringing you in and working with you is you take a bunch of that stuff, and I probably understand a little more of it than I pretend to, but little. But you take all that and then you give it to the student with one thing, which is what I respect, right? I want you to be able to say, hey, you need a little more torque. Let's get you to turn, right, and do that.
Yeah, and you got to have tools.
Why they need to do that. You guys give them the information, and then Scott shows them, well, this is why you need to do it based on this. And their faces are like, oh my God, that makes total sense.
And then the drills hopefully are simple. Like, hey.
Super simple that they can do on their own.
Sure.
You always did that drill for a while where you hit balls on one foot.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest eye-opener for people, I think. They do that and they're like, I can't believe what I've been doing for this long. And they've been hitting it well.
Sure.
But like, hey, you can get better, actually.
Well, I think the one thing, and let's talk about it for a minute. So you have people hit on each foot, 2 feet together, left foot, then right foot. What it to me, from the little teacher here, like to me explains when people really, really struggle. It's best used, or it's used for me that's practical, is like if a person gets 90%, Malia Stovall, perfect example.
Yeah.
Super talented player, somebody really dear to me. And she would have like almost 90-something% on her right leg, but couldn't get all the way back and had a bunch of throw.
Yeah.
But if you looked at it on video,
it
did not look bad going back to me. Did you think, Deb?
No, I mean the head movement, but that's where if you have the ability to measure versus you and I just guessing at it, I mean that would be, especially with a player like her, she's going to turn pro.
Yeah.
I mean, she's also been hitting it well for years, right?
Right. But like if you saw her on video, let's just take this. If you saw her on video and you didn't know the force plate data that we had.
I don't think you and I would have thought it was close to high 80 to 90%.
90. You wouldn't have think 90, and you wouldn't have thought that's the whole deal.
Right.
No.
I mean, I don't think so, because I thought it looked pretty damn good.
I know, and you get a lot of buy-in from the student when they like hit it 20 miles an hour slower and shank it off their right foot, and I'm like, why are you getting 90% off that foot when you can't even make contact?
So that's what I'm saying. I think
the student's like, that doesn't make sense.
The ability to me, for you, so I can bring somebody who most of the people, some of our older players, but mostly the juniors that come and the better players, they already have pretty good pivots. Like there aren't many of them that just suck.
Well, that one kid today with those kid with the bad legs, there was no turn. Or we had that, no, it was that other kid. He literally, his pelvis didn't move at all. Remember, he bar
Yeah.
arms up. And
Yeah. Right.
So we do build it from.
But like, you know, but it's like to be able to say, okay, this is what we have to do to make it better. They're already pretty good and better.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting to me. And that's what I like. But I like the fact that you look at all that data, and I like the ability to be able to, like, sometimes if the person's hitting it good and we decide to not go down it. But what'd you think about the way we work that way, Deb? I just like the ability. I like the way you touched on it earlier, Greg. I like the way it's open for everybody to volunteer to say something.
Sure.
And Michelle said that earlier yesterday. She's like, I asked her something. She's like, well, and she was like timid. You know, she's like, well, I don't know. You know, I was like, just say it. Jump in there. Go over there and tell him. And she's like, well, no. And I was like, yes, that's what we're all here for.
Right, and it's never a bad thing because we've done, all of us have done.
We've done
try this, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. Like,
I think
what's the birth
what
thing
Greg
happen
said
then?
in
Yeah.
the beginning, that this group in particular, you just left your ego at the door. And I think that we all have respect for each other. And if you have respect for that person, and, you know, we've been teaching long enough to know what to say, when not to say it. And if you and I need to confer on something, we'll confer before we tell the student. But the ability to keep it as simple as possible with the most technology we can, and with really great minds at the helm. And I left out Morgan, your fitness person. I think
Morgan
it's a
did awesome this week.
nice
How good was she?
body, mind technique. You know, you made a very nice circle for the students to get better. And I think
I
you did a
love
great job.
it doesn't always work this way, but I love the ability for them to rotate and move relatively quickly, like an hour at a time, from one to the other.
Yeah.
And
I think the greatest compliment too, and when I get these guys in the course for a teacher, is for guys to really be struggling hitting shots and know that they're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to stick with it because they know it's the right thing and it's going to get there, but it takes a little time.
It does.
And that's really
that's a good point.
powerful.
Yeah.
So does that sort of quell the frustration that some students have after lessons?
Not sorry, but I'm getting some information each time I get that shit.
Right.
So why
Like,
why do some people not? So this is going down totally. I mean, this could be another podcast, but like, why do some people leave lessons and not think that way? Why do some people leave lessons and hit a bad shot and get frustrated?
Because it's hard. Golf's hard. Improving is hard.
Right.
It's easy to go back to what you did and just settle for what you got and just assume you're going to find a way.
But what's interesting about that is inherently what they had before was probably not great either.
That's why they're there.
Right. That's right. That's why they're here. That's right.
Right.
So we have a
So that
captive
logic-
audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but like Nilo.
Nilo,
Yeah.
I call him Shiloh, but
He hit a shot today that, you know, sort of fanned out to the right. I said, "Oh, hold on." Like, you know, he'd go back to the bag and fuck. But what'd you do there? He's like, actually, I came out of it. Like, I didn't trust and I came out of it, but I felt it. So it's like, all right, there you go. Like, you didn't trust it. And that's what happens a lot. The guys that hit these shots out to the right because they just sort of come out of it because they just it doesn't feel right yet. And that's a pretty common miss for guys that are, I think, working on something. Mm-hmm. But they go on to the next one and try it again. And I think that's the greatest compliment to a teacher, is to know that they're doing the right thing, but they're going to take a little time to catch up to that.
that's why I think like some of the stuff we've done, and I mean, I'll go ahead and say it, like I signed up, I'm taking Will Woo's class, but like you showed me some of this stuff before, but having people do both extremes, where I did it in Palm Springs with Lucas, it didn't work out because we missed the cut, but like I had him hit big hooks and fades, and I go back to that every time. That was the first time you showed that to me and help people find the medium right. But like, I think the whole deal of like, if they can understand what the bad is and they feel what the bad is, and then they kind of feel what the good, they have a way to kind of know that they're on the right track.
And I think what it also does is gives people hope on the course. Because if I show you how to do it right, and then I say, go back and do it wrong again, and you watch what the ball does, then if you're on the course and the ball does that, you're like, oh yeah, I did that on the range. I can fix that. Like,
Yeah, you can do it. And they get excited regardless of the result.
sure. And that's why you quit golf, is if you don't have a clue why it's doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
And you can't stop it.
That's why we teach.
Right.
And I think I asked a student that today, and I'm not being critical of other teachers. I mean, there's a bunch of good and a bunch of bad, but like when I said, go ahead and tell everybody, tell Scott, Michelle, Debbie, Greg, what you were working on before you came here. And he was like, I don't really know.
Right.
And I can't remember. Well, if you work for 4 years with a guy, you should remember what you were working on, right?
Yeah,
but I think, and I think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And I think
good teachers give players direction, regardless of what's happening in this moment. They know they're building towards something.
Yeah, they should have a game plan. They should have notes. They should have videos. They should have something that they could go back to and lean on. I mean, that was an interesting
But I find that, I'll tell you what, I find that more and more.
I know. One of my buddies said that too, because it's so in me to write a game plan and to write down drills and to follow up and to have all this stuff on all of our students. But then one of my friends was like, I don't think it's as common as you think. Now, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, I think the invention of I'm going to use Swing Catalyst as an example.
Yeah.
With the software where you can send the video, got everybody away from writing notes. It's not them, it's everybody, right? So it was easy to pop the video, type something, send it. But then after a week of doing it, you get tired of sending the video, talk over and do it, and you quit writing notes. Now you don't do either.
Right.
Right? And I'm still old-fashioned. I mean, I'm not saying 100% of the time because I don't. Big part of it's because Meg just hasn't gotten out there and bought me more note cards. To be honest, right? But I've run out of note cards. I got to get some.
That was your thing.
Right, I still do it. 75% of the time, or more nowadays. Like a lot of the juniors now, because I would see the note cards discarded.
They keep it on their phone.
I make them write it themselves in their notes on their phone.
Yeah.
They're closer to that phone than they are their parents.
Totally.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was a bizarre comment by that student today.
Right. That he didn't remember.
What
For
I was
4
doing,
years?
Yeah. But I also saw it from the other student. Came from the same place, right? They don't know, right?
Yeah, and I think that what you'll learn from Will Woo's course is how to create practice plans. Because if you go to a trainer and they figure out that a certain exercise you need, they don't say go work on that exercise. No, they say 3 sets of 10 reps.
That's right.
And they give you a program which golf teachers don't do. I don't know anyone who does it.
I know, but I do.
We do.
I
Right,
do.
but you have I think programming every rep for a student.
No,
go to the range and hit 45 balls. The first 5 work on this. The second 5 do this. The third 5 do.
Shameless plug, but if you read Lessons from the Legends by me and Matt Reed, he has to be. That's up there with kind of Gone with the Wind. Right?
One of the classics.
It's one of the classics. I'm a little surprised they haven't turned it into a movie version. I keep thinking Matthew McConaughey is going to play Greg Cartin. Right?
Oh my God.
I do for students, not every one of them, but as we get serious and when a kid says, I'm not very good at practice, I don't know, where we script out a week's practice.
That's good, yeah.
Right?
100%.
And I've said this 20 times this week. I don't know if you've heard it, but I love for players to do a ball count. I don't like people to go to practice and just say, I'm going to hit for 20 minutes or I'm going to hit for 30 minutes. I want you to go with a purpose.
Yeah.
So I like a player to go and I'm just going to use Malia, for example. I would say go to the range and I want you to count out 25 balls. And I want you to do the first 25 balls only worried about staying centered, whatever, And then I want you to hit another 25 balls where you change clubs and you pick different targets each time, right? So you'd have hit 50 balls taking your time working on one thing that's applicable to the golf course and one thing that's working on your golf swing. I think you get more out of that and you'd spend more time doing it than just going to hit 100 golf balls.
Or just, like you say, do it wrong one way, do it wrong the other way, and then do it in the middle. And so you have 3 shots and then take a little break, evaluate 3 more shots. So that's the kind of thing that they learn more because you have a goal of every rep.
Yeah. We talked about that last time. Remember we had guys that would hit a draw or go hit a fade, even if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that guy couldn't do
Just hit a fade. I'm not going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Just hit a fade. What? And then they start to move in ways that they
are
learn
different.
from.
I mean, if we do come up with an easy software, because Will call what we learned in the lesson, they're ingredients, right? So
Yes.
the stronger grip is your ingredient.
Which I think his stuff's
and a little
fascinating,
more
by the
inside
way.
of your right foot is your ingredient. Well, then you send them to a range to learn how to cook.
Right.
Which is how to put it all together. And that's where, hey, if a strong grip is your ingredient, go even stronger, go even weaker, find the middle, and hit a bunch of shots that way, and then get to the outside of your foot, stay stacked on this
And then
side.
what do you call planning after that? If you're cooking on the range,
Eating.
Yeah. See how it tastes.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I
You
just
cooked it up, and then you go out and see how it tastes.
Let's produce it.
But I think part of coaching, and I think of myself as a coach, not a teacher as much, probably. And I see stuff on social media all the time debating, are you a teacher or coach, or what's the difference? But I think developing and mentoring and being around young people, and even tour players, they're young people, and they need mentoring, trust me.
And they still need to get better.
Right? But I think part of that is thinking about the whole thing, not just their golf swing.
Well, you and I talked about that. Like, there's so much more to a person. You have to Greg's point, it's a human being in front of you.
Yeah, before a golfer. They're humans. Golfers forget that.
And I think I said this on actually the last podcast I did with Drew Steckel, who, by the way, if you're listening and you haven't listened to it, is fantastic.
Yeah, he's good.
Drew is unbelievable young teacher. I don't know if you guys know Drew, and a delightful person to sit and have a glass of wine and chat with, which is how I rate a lot of people. So it was fantastic. But we were talking about it, and I don't know how the conversation went, but I said, I think more than I really believe that most all of us have pretty close to the same information. We may have different approaches or takes on it. Like, we all kind of have access to the same stuff. And I think it's how your ability to communicate and touch a person and get to know them and to motivate them and to get to do them is what's different. Because I think even more now with the proliferation of all of the stuff on social media and all of your information. I remember the first time we talked, you were the only person other than one other person that I knew was a biomechanist in golf. We could Google it now and there's 100 of them and we don't even know them.
Right.
So I think there's so much information out there. I think now it's even more important to be able to
make it simple.
Really?
Communicate it.
Yeah. And I think depends on the player. Like, certain players will respond better to certain coaches, and the personalities are super important.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Right, that's right. That's it's the trust. It's the relationship.
Right.
There's a lot of good teachers, a lot of good people out there, but you don't trust what someone's saying. It doesn't matter.
And if somebody came to this camp and they wanted to be super serious and they were not into having music playing and joking around and having fun, like,
they wouldn't have a good time.
They wouldn't have a good time.
We had a guy,
they wouldn't come back.
Sure.
Like,
Tell you what, we had a guy who was a good mid-am player 2 or 3 retreats ago, and we had a fantastic time. Had dinner, him and his wife, all that. But he said, like, hey, I want to keep working with you, but I think I'd rather just do it like one private hour lesson at a time and do that. He's like, I don't know that that's for me. And that's fine.
Sure.
Right? I mean, and that's cool.
Have you heard anyone ever say, like, turn off the music, man?
Okay, I mean, I'll tell this story. This is a good one. This is a good one. So I had a parent of a kid that I teach who was one of the most overbearing, hard to deal with parents ever. He thought he was the kid.
Right.
And a kid who's playing in the SEC, actually now. And I taught the kid from a very young age, and we're working, and I have my music going.
Yeah.
And the dad's 10, 12 feet away from me, and he's hovering in. And I'm telling the kid something, and it's going well. The lesson's going really well. The kid's a good player. And the dad says, picks up the remote, goes over and turns the music off. And we were right in the middle of Maggie May. I'll never forget it. Right, which happens to be one of my favorites, right? And I still say it's one of the 2 or 3 greatest rock and roll songs of all time.
Rod Stewart.
You can't. And so
Matt Rudy would say that's not rock and roll.
Matt Rudy would say it's not rock, but he's wrong. He's wrong about a lot of things. That's one of them. Okay. But anyway, so love you, Matt. So anyways, I looked. I was like, I'm in the middle of Wake Up, man. And I turned and I said to the dad, I go, hey, what happened to that music? He said, I turned it off because I couldn't hear you. And I said, well, that's okay because I wasn't talking to you. That's the last time I ever taught the kid.
Wow.
And he's an SEC player, great player, played great in the USAM. I said, but I stand by my point.
Sure.
I'm coaching the kid. I'm teaching the person.
Well,
I don't really give a shit about the dad trying to live through his kid, right? And that's what the guy was. I mean, I'm surprised he hadn't left his bank and he's got a room next to the kid's dorm room or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the truth, right? I mean, we're there to communicate with the player.
Yeah, and I like the environment, but I'm sure there are some people that's
For
not
sure.
for them.
It's not for everybody, I don't think.
That's right.
And we have people call and you try to not weed them out, but like it does, to me at this point, we have a lot of people come see us here and like it doesn't do us any good to put a person in there that's not going to enjoy it and not going to be successful, because we only get better if we do a good job. You know?
You also don't change to accommodate certain students. You're authentic and you do what you know what works for you, and if that doesn't work for them, that's fine. You can't teach everybody.
And if you look at your social media, it's pretty clear you play music and you like.
God, but I'll tell you, on the other flip side is I've had 4 people recently who've come in, and like parents or different people, probably a lot of parents, which dates me a little bit, but
they love your music.
I remember when I was younger than the parents, and or they've said like, "Man, I love your playlist."
Yeah, right.
Like, what is it? And I'm like, "It's Do Sweeperville USA on Spotify." I should get a royalty or something.
You should.
Right? But anyways, you're right. But like, to a bigger point, Deb, we'll reach this over to you as we kind of start to wrap this up. But like, I think that's an important part of finding the right teacher, is you've got to find the right match for you. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't use this example all the time because it's the super easiest for me. Is like, I couldn't teach Bryson. Right? Like, he would be talking about stuff. I'd have to call Scott. I'd have to call Ray, and then I'd have to get back to him all while standing there. Right? Like, so not everybody works for everybody. And I think I don't think people think of that. Like, when you're around your town and you're like, I'm wanting to get better at golf, everybody just says,
I'll go to that guy.
I'm going to go to that guy because he made my buddy good, or I'm going to go to that guy. But like, I don't know that they take into account, if you're really serious about it, like, I got to find the right match for this.
Well, that's why the internet's great, and you can teach remotely, and you can find people from all over the place.
Yeah.
I agree.
What do you think about remote learning?
I think, look, for some people it works. I did some virtual lessons over COVID.
I got one waiting on me.
Did you do them for people that you didn't know?
Some I did for people I didn't know. Some student was in Hilton Head the entire couple months. She is playing college golf.
Yeah.
So I saw her every weekend.
Did you get that from your social media?
No. But I don't prefer it. I don't love it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between teaching a student that you've already had, that you've taught in person,
she was easier. Versus
like, hey, I'm just going to find Debbie online and maybe she'll give me a lesson.
Yeah, that's very hard because you can't see the ball flight. I like to work off of ball flight.
Yeah.
And you have to have an interview and an understanding of the person in front of you. So
I've done them
difficult.
Like with a swing cat. So if you have the launch monitor and the swing cat running and I have access to their computer screen, and I just talk to them for FaceTime, I get it. Like, it can work really well. That's what technology can really help you with.
Yeah.
You get a lot more information after every
I've done a couple FaceTime lessons with tour players.
Okay.
I think I'm almost better with the having you send the video and asking questions.
Right. And you got,
because the FaceTime, like, you're looking through a keyhole. But I'm doing a ton more online. I've had a lot of online activity. I'm on Skillest, but when I had Baden Schaff, who was with us at the PGA show, right, on not long ago, and like, it's obviously the future.
Mm-hmm. That's great. It's our field is fantastic. I mean, we're not looking.
But it's different. But I'll say this. It's kind of like when I started doing the radio show 12, 13 years ago. It makes me a better teacher. Because, like, with the radio show, I had to really think about what I was doing before I would talk to people like a Chuck Cook, or I'd talk to people like a Tom Ness or something. I mean, I couldn't just go on there and it's like the same thing, like with these people, because you're only going to get one shot at them, and once you type it and it's out there, it's out there. Or you say it on a recording, it's out there. So you really have to kind of think. And I think you got to think, because you can't see the ball flight, you can't just go to some of the normal things we might always go to.
Right.
Yeah, and the way you guys all teach is that there's a personal connection that's important.
To me, that's the part I don't like about the online, is I don't feel like I can make a joke. Right. I don't feel like I can, like, I think that my soft skills are probably my stronger skills more than my technical aspect. I don't know that they get them. Wow. Anyways,
people like that.
Yeah. But anyways, that's what I guess that's why that's the part I don't like about video online stuff.
Yeah.
But having said that, there's a lot of people in our industry that are very successful at it.
And they're very good.
Really
way better than I am.
They're good to get the message across. It's good.
And they like it. Yeah. That's the interesting thing too. Is
I think there's people that like it better than being in front of a real person.
100%. Yeah, I think
people
they
that go online dating.
Yep.
I'm sure there's people that do online lessons and online dating. What if you did an app for both?
I think there is.
Probably is one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an app for everything.
Dating you or something. All right. Anyways, this was awesome. Again, thank all of you for a fantastic weekend. Doc, Greg, thanks as always.
Yeah, thank you.
But Deb, I do think that you're going to be, I mean, if you're open to it, I think you're going to kind of move into the regular rotation. It's kind of like when they kicked Troon out of the Rota for the British Open.
Yeah.
Moves me like, we're moving you in.
Man, I appreciate that.
If you'll come. Winkler, what can we say? It's been an awesome debut. Push draws. I'm not going to block you. Okay.
We're going to bring a Dew Sweepers camp up to
When are we going to bring
Sandwich.
The sandwich.
Oh my God, yeah.
Bring them down here.
We're going to do it. We are going to do
Revolutionize
it.
the place.
I will promise one thing, because I've had some talks, and I don't know where it's going to be yet. We are going to do something. I mean, obviously, this is if COVID doesn't destroy the world in the next month or a couple months, right? And things start to go back to normal. We're going to do a golf school up in the Northeast, all of us, this team, together this summer. Probably Boston would be my guess.
plenty of places.
Nice.
I think it'd be fun. And so, but Winkler, first of all, again, congratulations and thanks
you.
for hanging out. You've been such an awesome person to hang out with. We did it last week at Ocean Reef, so I've seen you 2 weeks in a row. Scott, and thanks for being the brains behind this entire operation.
Holding it all together.
You're kind of, you know how football teams have a guy on it that raises the GPA? Like,
You elevated this.
that's what we do. You bring the Dew Sweeper GPA up.
Elevate this.
Awesome. So anyways, thanks for sitting in. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Tour Coach with Tony Ruggiero. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this podcast. You can stay up to date because we have weekly episodes coming your way with fascinating people in the world of golf instruction at the highest level. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. If you want to learn more about Tony, head over to dewsweepersgolf.com to get all the details on what he's up to. Maybe you want to see him, grab a lesson, or go to one of his camps, pick up his book, Lessons from the Legends. You can do that there. If you want to see Tony in action with some videos and other content, head over to golfsciencelab.com/Tony to get more info there. This episode was powered by the Golf Science Lab and was edited, mixed, and produced by Just Hit Publish Productions.
We go into year 2 of the Tour Coach. It wouldn't be possible without the support of all our sponsors. And I've had some great ones. And one of the things that I'm most proud of in my career and in my business is the fact that all of my relationships here and all these sponsorships have been long withstanding relationships, haven't jumped from sponsor to sponsor and manufacturer to manufacturer. And I've always prided ourselves in special relationships and when people work together, support each other, and we've all put out great products for the benefits of everybody else. So I want to give a special thanks to these folks that have been with me for such a long time, and that would be the folks at Srixon, Cleveland Golf, and Zexio. Couldn't ask for a better manufacturer to be aligned with, and not only do they put out great product and great support, but they're first-class people, and they believe in what we're doing here on the Tour Coach and with the Dew Sweepers, and also Vineyard Vines. Ian, Shep, TJ, and all the folks at Vineyard Vines. Hard to keep me looking good, but they do a fantastic job, and they're like family. They support everything on the Dew Sweepers, and we're so proud to be affiliated with and support the folks at Vineyard Vines. So if you're out there, you're listening to the Tour Coach, please support our sponsors, Srixon, Cleveland Golf, Zexio, as well as Vineyard Vines, and keep listening and keep enjoying hanging out with us here on the Tour Coach.